Hi there, Coach Sage Canaday of SageRunning.com here with another training talk. Today we're going to talk about running form, and we're going to focus on the upper body, actually shoulders and up. We're going to talk about the head bob problem. We're going to talk about a common mistake that I do a lot actually, having too tight shoulders, too much tension in your shoulders, the back of your neck, and how that affects your efficiency when it comes to running long distances. Alright, so sloppy form habits happen over time. It could be, if you're like me and you start getting older, you're hunched over at your computer desk, right? You're sitting at your computer typing or, looking at your laptop. Sometimes you lean in with your neck, right? You crane that neck forward. Even if you're lifting weights or something like that, sometimes you hunch over at the upper back. You generally do not want that with running. You want to keep that back, that upper back, and that neck pretty straight. Your gaze might be slightly down. It might be at 50 feet or 10 meters in front of you, depending if you're going uphill or running flat, or if you're going downhill. But generally you want to keep that chin up enough that your airway is open. The trachea, your throat, you want to keep that open so you could breathe well. And I make this mistake. You see it when I have a bad race, doing having a rough day out there. You kind of are, maybe I'm embarrassed, I don't know. I'm looking down at the ground, discouraged. When you look down at the ground, that neck cranks down, right? And that whole back kind of hunches forward. It's going to make it harder to breathe. It's going to throw off your whole forward body lean with the rest of your position from your shoulders down to your hips and pelvis, down to your feet. So you get that discouraged forward lean. Maybe you're getting tired in a race. Don't look down right at the ground. That's a no-no. The same token, we got people that do the old lean back. You see this with a lot of high school cross-country runners. They're running and they start just looking up at the sky, right? You're opening up your throat, that's nice, but you're kind of looking up skyward. You might start throwing off your balance as well. So it's all about trying to keep efficiency and form while you're starting to hurt. You're starting to build up fatigue. You're starting to get tired. That always happens at the end of a hard workout or a hard distance race, but not throwing off your neck too much, right? Not leaning forward, not looking down, but also not tilting up and back too much. And it takes practice. It takes practice realizing that over time. Maybe you have a video clip at the end of a hard workout or a hard race where you recognize these habits. I know I've made these mistakes, so it's about keeping that neck straight. The other thing we see with people, and sometimes this is more of a genetic or a natural thing to do, is they do the head bob, right? Sometimes you can't control it as much, but there's a side-to-side motion. I think a famous marathon runner, Paula Radcliffe, actually had a pretty big head bob, and she ran 2:15. So it's not necessarily a horrible thing. It's not necessarily something you could totally straighten out, but recognize if you're bobbing your head from side to side, usually that's gonna maybe hurt your efficiency. It could be an underlying spine position type of deal. You could have tightness in your back for some other reason. Again, I mentioned working at the office desk, sitting in the car with poor form, working on your computer, staring at your iPhone or something like that. That neck tends to lean forward more. And as you age, as you get more into running, sometimes that tightness occurs. And so what we want to eliminate mainly is not have the head bob, not have the up look or the down look, but keeping that head kind of straight on, keeping that throat open, and then keeping those shoulders relaxed, because that's going to affect your arm swing, right? If your if your head's leaning forward, your traps get really tight, the shoulder muscles are getting tight, you kind of do the hunch-in, right? Hunch-in elbows, or hunch-in shoulders. Your shoulder blades are kind of hunched in. That makes it harder to breathe too, right? You don't want to be closing in on your chest, your bronchial tubes. But then you also get wingy elbows maybe, right? I do this, so it's a common problem. But you're clenching your fists, you're too tight with the shoulders, it's gonna waste a lot of energy. And I know, you're hurting at the end of a race, sometimes you just gotta thrash to the finish line. But if you're tightening up in the upper body too much, the tightness kind of radiates throughout your whole body. You get too much tightness, it's gonna hurt your stride, it's gonna hurt your speed and efficiency. And it's also probably gonna make you sore, especially if you're carrying a handheld in a trail race, or you already have a pack full of fluid and gels. It's kind of heavy already, right? So keep that neck relaxed and straight, keep that back straight, that upper back straight, so you don't hunch up those shoulders, you don't tighten up too much. It's wasted energy, wasted calories if your shoulders and your biceps are tight and your arms are just too tight like that. So it's a very common problem. I have to think about it all the time to straighten it out in my running form. But if you think you're nice and relaxed, you imagine you're holding potato chips in your hands and you don't want to crunch them, right? Keep your fingers kind of loose. I do the okay sign sometimes. Keep that arm swing nice and relaxed and nice and loose, and keep that head straighten up. You see in a lot of films, especially if I'm holding a GoPro and filming, I lean forward too much and I keep that head down. So, relax, keep those shoulders nice and loose, loosen the arms up before you go for a run, and always be aware of when you're working or driving or sitting down what your form is like. I know it's a lot of work, but it could save you a lot of literal back pain and neck and shoulder pain, as well as improve your running performance, and that's what we're all about here. Again, check out our whole tutorial playlist on our website, or on this YouTube channel, VO2 Max Productions. Subscribe on here, thumbs up if you like these types of videos. Coach Sandy at Running While to Believe also has great running form tutorials and videos. Check that out. Check out our website, sagerunning.com, for training plans and advice for any surface, any distance. We've been in the sport for a long time. We've done everything from 5K to 100 miles. So yeah, check that out. Thank you again. Hope your running's going well, and stay tuned for more.